of contracts from the existing contract after they expired, and when that was done, pharmaceutical companies claimed that they were not ready and time given to them was not sufficient for the new companies to build up stock so that they can start deliver. But sadly to say, some of them have not been able to deliver a single item of what they promised to deliver when they signed the contract last year. That has then forced us to look at alternative means of getting supplies to make sure that patients who come to facilities for medical treatment live with the treatment they wanted to get.
Let me see, there was a situation of companies indicating that they weren't paid for some of the medication. Was that correct or not?
I can say with authority today that in Gauteng we don't have such problems. Most companies which were delivered services have been paid. As I speak, there are companies who have not delivered a single item of what they were contracted to do since September last year. So from where we are, we do not have a problem of companies that we owe money. All we're dealing with is the difficulties of suppliers meeting the demand, and probably it could be global difficulties, but in any given point, it cannot be attributed to the lack of payment from our side.
How severe is the issue of stockouts of medication in Gauteng?
The situation was severe sometime late last year, October, November, December, and it was really, really bad. We're sitting at 60%, 40%. As we speak now, we're sitting about close to 70% of the drugs available. But on ARVs, particularly the fixed dose combination, we are sitting at 100%, and we continue to work tirelessly. The CEO of our medical supply depot, together with the committees we call the Pharmaceutical Therapeutic Committees, are working very hard to make sure that they look for alternative supply. If a drug X is not available for antibiotics, they look for somebody else, and this is where the penalties kick in, where if we buy the medication from company A, which was not delivered by company B, we make sure that the penalties are charged to company A simply because of the price difference that we had bought the medication from a different company.
And how severe are those penalties for the drug companies?
They are serious, and I think for the company that has not delivered a single thing, everything else that we've been buying and delivering and paying the new supplier where we're buying from, all of that money must be paid back by that company. So we have not quantified per company, but I know for a fact that some of them have to pay those amount of money whenever their levels of stock improves. The first thing they go to start with is to pay us and be able to start delivering the services.
What were some of the issues affecting the companies that were not delivering on the promises?
Well, I wouldn't be able to speculate much, but what I do know from the work that we've been doing in the province partly was simply their inability to build the necessary volumes on time when that take time, particularly the new contractors. But over and above that, it was the issue of a shortage of active pharmaceutical ingredients globally. And I know that even private companies, private companies also are in shortage of medication. You'd be aware that the flu vaccine was not available till very late, early May or so. Again, that's part of it, of the shortages that are seen globally. And I think we're doing everything we can. The minister convened a meeting with all MECs and the pharmaceutical companies, and to say indeed there's a problem, and we all admit that we've not been able to come to the party. And I think there is an alternative that's being sourced globally wherever we can find the medication.
Now, the Stop Stockout campaign was very critical at one stage about the shortages, but you are collaborating with them now.
Yes, and that's why in their reports Gauteng would not feature very prominently. Where we feature is where all other provinces feature, particularly around some ARV treatment, simply because we've said to our health facilities, when the Stop Stockout campaign people call, you should be able to provide information, because it's in our best interest to know how patients are being treated. Are they getting medication? And sometimes in one or two instances, we have found that people have not been given medication, yet there was medication in the store. It may not be what the patient was prescribed for, but there was an alternative, and the pharmacist will simply say, well, there's no medication, come back another day. So those things, the collaboration has helped us when we dig deeper to understand that. But also people do send us email. They do send us SMSs and WhatsApp and say, MEC, I was at the facility, I did not get medication. When you dig deep, you find that that sometimes the stock is sitting in somewhere and people are just lazy to fund the stuff. So there's also some management issues that we're dealing with facility by facility as well.
Has that improved the situation of delivery?
Yes, it is improving, and I know that in Charlotte we also had to put someone into disciplinary process simply because of this shoddiness kind of a behavior.
Now, people that's currently on chronic medication, what sort of advice would you give to them with the current shortages in place, and what plans are in place to assist them?
The first thing I like to say to each and every citizen who take medication in our health facilities, do not leave a facility without being told whether there's an alternative or not. And then people are at liberty to call me and send messages or emails and all of that, because where there is not the drug that we prescribe for is not available, there's always an alternative. It's not available that time, they can always borrow it from one facility to the other. Also, these things happen that this facility may not have, but the next door neighbor may have it. So people mustn't leave facility without being given answers. When am I going to get a medication if I don't have it today? If you don't have the right one, give me the alternative. The second issue is that we want to 40% of the patients that come to public health facilities are stable patients who take diabetic, hypertension, heart-related medication, as well as stable patients who are taking ARV medication. And we would like to decongest health facilities by taking them out of the facilities and giving them an alternative where to deliver the medication. They can go and collect it anytime they want. And of course, we've looked at a system where people can send an SMS, your medication has arrived, please come and collect. Then they don't have to see a doctor. All they do to produce their identity number, and then of course to verify that indeed this is a patient linked to this medication. And once they verify that, indeed they'll be able to collect their medication. It's important to make sure that people who are stable are not coming to our facilities just to glorify the facilities and create the numbers. It's highly unacceptable. People have lost jobs, people they are productive, they lost productivity, and they are not able to do other things simply because they're coming to collect medication.
That sounds very progressive in terms of the things that you put in place to make it available for people, even with technology, by sending them an SMS and getting them to the closest facility to where they are. But what happens now if people still does have a problem when they get to the hospital or the clinic and there's nothing there? Who can they call? Where do they call?
They're liberty to call me and send me emails anytime, 24/7.
Is there a toll-free number, perhaps, MEC?
My number is a toll-free number.
Shall we give that toll-free number to people out there?
There's an email address as well, so Qedani.mahlangu@gauteng.gov.za, and only Gauteng people. And I don't deal with people who are interested in business proposal. I only deal with patients' issues in trying to resolve those. And my mobile number is 082-338-1170.
Can we just slow down the
082-338-1170. 1170.
1170.
Yes, send SMSs or WhatsApp so that I'm in this clinic, I'm not getting medication, and this is my my disease, and how can I do?
MEC, thank you so much for joining us here in studio.
Thank you very much.
That was the MEC Qedani Mahlangu, Gauteng Health, joining us here. Now, that number again, just if you're listening or watching, 082-338-1170. Send the MEC an SMS or WhatsApp, and she will respond to you. And of course, the email address you also had. But now,